Welcome to the REALL Academy, brought to you each Saturday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time by
the Resilience DoctHers,
Dr. Sheka Houston and Dr. Tammy Taylor, best-selling authors, consultants, and speakers of Create and Educate LLC. Create and Educate LLC is an educational consultant and literary firm that provides professional development to schools and community. Their goal is to transform organizations with the REALL Resilient Framework used to increase their school report card grades 2 and 3 grade levels in 1 year. REALL stands for Respect, Excellence, Accountability, Literacy, and Leadership. This framework is used to coach leaders and teachers and build student efficacy while putting systems in place that aligns the work of the school improvement, making the process manageable. When the work is manageable, teachers and leaders don't stress out or burn out.
The Resilience DoctHers.
Alignment systems are designed to help schools evolve and grow, all while instituting protocols and processes designed to promote collaboration and collegiality. The implementation of the alignment framework prevents some of the most common problems in education, where leaders sometimes aren't sure where to start, or in our new age of educating, leaders need a trusted sounding board that allows them to be vulnerable and transparent, preventing loneliness at the top. The framework doesn't just help leaders, but also prevents teachers from burning out from too many initiatives and embracing teachers as they are the experts. Finally, the framework extends to the children, helping them get engaged in school and solving a nationwide problem. Alignment systems are frequently referred to as a key element of success in the improvement process. In the sport of rowing, all rowers must put their oars in the water, succinctly creating a system for their boat to reach maximum speed. So schools that want to improve are bringing in
the Resilience DoctHers
to teach them all about the alignment systems that must be in place for school improvement to be accomplished at high levels. The dynamic duo provides insights into educational topics through their international platform, which includes educators, parents, and community members as a way to support important entities that make communities thrive. This is their way to pay it forward and provide the support they needed through their platform. Take a look. People who work with
the Resilience
describe them as
DoctHers
an excellent and inspiring group of leaders. They get into the weeds of work with leaders through their TrustMate Institute that you should contact them about today by filling out the contact form on their website.
It's Super Saturday, everyone. Welcome to episode 226 of the REALL Academy, brought to you by Create and Educate with your very own Resilience DoctHers. I'm Dr. Sheka Houston.
And I am Dr. Tammy Taylor. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever is appropriate for where you're watching us today.
Absolutely. If this is your first time tuning in, you may be wondering, well, who are the Resilience DoctHers?
Well, we are glad that you asked. We are best-selling authors, children's book authors, award-winning educators, and speakers who transformed our schools with the report card movement of 2 and 3 levels in just a single year.
And as senior staff developers for Create and Educate, we know school transformation is needed in many areas. So if behavior is off the charts, we can help. If your students don't have reading stamina, we can help. If your teachers need more engaging literacy strategies, we can help. And if you are looking for children's book authors visits, we're your girls.
Absolutely. And if you can't bring us in, keep tuning in to the REALL Academy, where we have impacted over 300 1,000 educators and about 7 million students, all through the free Fantastic Four PD Super Saturday lineup. At 10 a.m., we begin each week with Principal Sean Hurt, who brings us fire and a wealth of information every Saturday. And then following Principal Hurt are yours truly, Create and Educate in the Real Academy. And then at 10:55, the leader's mentor and the GOAT of all things leadership in the AP and New Principals Academy with Principal Kafele. And then on Sunday evenings, the PGP podcast with Dr. Marty Moreno and Principal Josh Tovar.
Absolutely. So please like, share, subscribe, send the stars, make the comments, do all of the things that the platforms do. Help these algorithms out. And we say please and thank you. So last week we were pre-recorded, so we didn't get to do our Real Fam shout outs, but we are going to do that right after I make these announcements. Be sure you check out our new radio show that's in partnership with WGCD radio station. Parents Are First Teachers. It airs on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. and it's just 15 minutes. You do have to watch it live from their link that I always post. Amir's Awakening is trending, so we were featured in Black News. Thank you to those of you that have ordered already and pre-ordered. We're going to be mailing out copies today as well. We do have a bundle sale that is live, so if you go to the Shopify account and get the bundle, you'll get the deal on that, and it makes a great stocking stuffer. Give your children the gift of an amazing adventure. And as Principal Kafele has said, Amir's Awakening is a must read. So please get your copy, see what all of the hype is about. And now we're going to shout out our Real Fam members, starting with AP Patrick Lawrence. Merry Christmas to you as well and happy holidays. Thank you. Dr. Rella Hicks, Miss Constance Sherrod, Kenna Rawlin, David Bell, Miss Dot McKeever Jeter, or Coach Dot McKeever Jeter, who keeps us all promoted. Thank you, Coach Dot. Our brother in the work, Principal Josh Tovar. Principal Kafele, the GOAT, is here, and he posted his copy. We are so appreciative of his endorsement, his support, his mentorship, all of the things. So thank you, Principal Kafele. We always appreciate you. Miss Melissa, or Dr. Melissa Jones Chunu, is here with us as well. Principal Sean Hurt, who just gave us all of the thankfulness and the reason for the season. We appreciate you, Principal Hurt. That was a great episode this morning. Chancellor Rashard Davis, thank you for joining us. Let me see if I've missed anybody. September Devance Daniels, Danielle Sessions, my mom, Beverly Hall, is here. And we also want to send a special shout out to Tammy's mom, Miss Lula. We are praying for her, and everything's going to be well.
Yes. Thank you so much. And again, thank you all for joining us. We are now at the Real Comment of the Week portion of this episode, and we are excited to share that our real comments are coming from last week, Arcella Austri and Kenyel Sessions. And we want to share, Arcella said, I absolutely love how you have mashed SEL and literacy. And they're referencing Amir's Awakening. And then Kenyel said, I literally saw the light bulb come on above my head when I heard that was said. That, again, we want to thank you guys for those comments and for taking time to be with us every week.
Absolutely. And that is why we do what we do. Shout out to Dr. Sinitra Williams, and I saw Queen Jacqueline as well on there. So thank you all for joining us. But this brings us to episode 226 of the Real Academy. When do you At what point do you lose your right to an education? So this week I posted a story of an incarcerated man who earned a degree from Yale University, from the penitentiary. People were shocked, but here's the deeper question his story raises. At what point do we believe someone no longer deserves an education? Because the answer to this question sets the tone for how discipline is approached in your district, in our district. And when you decide that students are too much, too bad, too disruptive, or too difficult, then we begin to treat education as if it's a privilege instead of a right.
For sure, Sheka. Let's ground this in data. High school dropouts cost taxpayers $225,000 over their lifetime. Come on, do you hear me? $225,000. This includes incarceration, lower earning potential, and increased dependence on social systems. We either pay now or we pay much more later on.
Absolutely, Tammy. And here's a quote that we all know, but that sometimes we rarely apply consistently. When students can't read, we teach. When they can't swim, we teach. When they can't add, subtract, or multiply, we teach. But when they can't behave, we punish. This mindset is at the root of educational inequality.
Girl, for real, for real. And we have to just think about how that all goes, because if we really think about things, most behavior is not malicious. Most of it boils back down to communication. Students may be communicating unmet needs, they might be communicating frustration, skill deficits, emotional overload, trauma responses, belonging issues. And what we have to recognize is that punishment doesn't fix any of those. What we need in those situations are interventions, because
Absolutely.
that's what's going to make the difference.
Absolutely. And I'm on my new soapbox as one of the district's hearing officers. And I keep asking people, where are the interventions? We got all of this punishment, we got enrollments dropping, um, you know, everything's happening, but we fail a lot of times to intervene. And interventions do work, prevention does work. So we're going to make this concrete and look at some of the top behaviors that school leaders are struggling with right now, because I also believe that we can't just expect interventions, but we have to give some examples. So let's start off with vaping. That's my number one thing that I get that everybody want to send the children packing for these vapes. So we're going to run through the framework. Respect. We have to teach children, this is prevention, to respect their bodies. Many of them don't know that vapes are filled with toxic waste. They think because they have been marketed to be more safe. So we have to teach them to respect their bodies, their community, their health, and the science behind that.
Yeah, for sure. Now, vaping is a really big thing, and believe it or not, it is trending downward. Like it's a huge big thing in high school, but more and more you're seeing that in middle and elementary schools as well. So that is definitely something that we need to be paying attention to. When you think about the another big thing that is a big ticket thing in schools are phones. Those cell phones create chaos and cause confusion on campuses with administration. And again, when we teach children that there needs to be a respect for learning time, we have to respect boundaries, and this isn't the time for this. So we teach them how to figure this out. And another thing that I think a part of our framework, and when we look at the accountability piece of it, if a phone is used inappropriately, then We could have the student to log the incident and write how they're going to manage it differently next time. Communicate with the parent, like, we're seeing this and this is not acceptable. So we really need for you to think about what you can do to support us in this effort at school. And then finally, when you're thinking about cell phones and leadership, think about how students can help create the phone expectations and the appropriate consequences.
Absolutely, Tammy. And Tammy ran through the whole framework on cell phones, and I just stopped at respect. So I'm going to finish. Excellence. Make sure that students create public service announcements or posters, videos demonstrating excellent choices. Accountability. Students can complete reflections and attend teen vaping awareness mini sessions. We also have a partner locally that provides family interventions for vaping as well, because a lot of times this is the adults that need knowledge or awareness around that as well. Literacy, students can read short articles on how nicotine targets the adolescent brain. And then for leadership, students can join or create a healthy choices crew as peer ambassadors. And that takes us to disrespect. That's another big one in schools that we see a lot of times after the vaping and the cell phones is disrespect. And again, we teach respect. So we teach, we model, practice respectful language, and make sure we are reiterating what respectful language sounds like to children. Because I can't tell you how many times, even my children come home and I forgot what that my daughters call it, but they call it something about basically being provoked, but they got a name for it in their terminology. I'll have to check with them. But that's a real thing. We have to teach that to teachers and to the students. Excellence, role play scenarios of conflict done with excellence, because conflict is going to come about. We just have to teach them how to work through it. Accountability, restorative conversations with staff, and apology plans. I have had restorative meetings where I've sent a child back to a school who was put up for expulsion, but we're going to have a restoration meeting first because we're going to restore what was broken before they return. Literacy, students learn sentence frames or frustration and disagreement repairs. I've provided students with sentence frames on how to deal with whatever they're having to deal with, because a lot of times the problem is they don't know how to respond. And then leadership, students become peace partners to help others manage their tone and their conflict.
Yes, those are really good strategies, Sheka, for helping, because sometimes respect is very tenuous, because some children don't mean to be disrespectful. Now, some of them are intending to be, but some of
Mm-hmm.
them really truly aren't intending to be um, disrespectful. But I want to go to one other area that creates lots of issues, and that is conflict and kid drama. Now, we all have to deal with that. I hate it. That is one of the things that is just absolutely on my list of, oh my gosh, I really am tired of, I cannot stand drama. It just tears my nerves up. But we again have to teach children how to have boundaries. Like, we have to teach them how to respect boundaries. We have to teach them how to respect each other emotionally, because honestly, that will eliminate a lot of the drama. For excellence, we have to teach conflict resolution skills. We put them in some conflict resolution circles and help them figure out how to work through their issues. Because again, when we go back to communication being one of the major pitfalls, if we teach children how to talk through things and solve their problems, it creates less drama and it cuts down that conflict. Accountability, make sure children know how to own what you've done. You did it, now you got to own up to it, and you have to be willing to accept your role in whatever the conflict was, and be willing to accept your consequence, whatever that looks like. when you're thinking about it from a literacy perspective, you have to teach kids social emotional language and that vocabulary that is appropriate. Teach them what it means to be triggered. Teach them what boundaries are. Teach them when something is going awry, you call that escalating. We want to de escalate instead of escalate things. We want to teach them what resolution means. We can solve this together. So, being one of the administrators again who cannot stand all of that drama and conflict, you empower kids with leadership by leading them in a way that helps them to understand that you can lead too in a drama free environment. And if you do need mediation, we know how to help you to get these problems solved in a way that allows for us all to get along and to all um, maintain our integrity while learning from whatever it is we've gone through.
Absolutely, Tammy. You set a whole bar there, as the children would say. So, as our famous sister, Miss Ayanla Van Zant, would say, the heart of the matter is students do not lose their right to an education because they vape, not because they curse, not because they disrupt, not because they fight or because they struggle. They lose their right to an education only when adults around them stop believing they deserve one. And we saw the post where a gentleman from the penitentiary still had access to an education, earned his degree from Yale.
Wow. And that's why our philosophies matter. Your district philosophy matters. Your school culture matters. A punitive system creates push out. A supportive system yields graduates.
Absolutely. So ask yourself and your school team, what does our discipline system say we believe about children? Because just like Tammy talked about, those behaviors communicate something, our responses communicate something as well. And every consequence communicates a belief.
Absolutely. And what we should do is we should choose consequences that teach. We should choose consequences that restore. We should choose consequences that are going to allow us to uplift as a system. That those are the systems that we need to put in place. And we should choose leadership that protects the rights of children to be able to learn.
Absolutely, Tammy. So, thank you all for joining us for episode 226 of the Real Academy. We hope today's conversation sparked meaningful reflection and real change. You know, our acronym REAL, in your beliefs, and we hope they transfer to your systems.
Please, and catch the replay, share it with a colleague, and meet us again next Saturday right here on the Real Academy. And don't forget to tune in to our radio show, Parents Are First Teachers, that airs every Wednesday at 7 p.m. on WGCD 104.5 FM. And Sheka posts that link each week so you can join it again, because we believe that parents are first teachers.
Absolutely. So we are the Resilience DoctHers, helping you create and educate so you can thrive. We hope that you all have a real amazing Super Saturday. Please join Principal Kafele next on his page. And also on Sunday, join Dr. Madi Moreno and Principal Josh Tovar. I don't know if Dr. Moreno is back or not, but she may be still in Africa. But if not, usually Josh has a guest on. And then right back here on Super Saturday, starting off at 10 a.m. with Principal Sean Hurt, yours truly, Create and Educate at 10:30. And of course, the GOAT, Principal Kafele, is at 10:55.
And everybody, we want to say that we hope you all have a very, very Merry Christmas on next week. And we hope everyone remembers the reason for the season. And remember, Kwanzaa begins on next Friday. And we are elated that we are going to get to kick off a Kwanzaa celebration in Florida.
Absolutely. Have a great rest of your Saturday, everyone. Thank you.